What's up, guys? Welcome back to Also Trey. Today we're back with another video. This is one of the catch-up videos with the girl taking off her little wig. Remember that? Speaking a lot of confidence. We gonna see what she got to say though, cause you know we always gotta do a little recap and come back to it. So we gonna see what she got to say, if it's any interest or whatever. So it's not gonna be too long of a video. Tell me, guys. Tell me what video ideas you guys like better. Do you like the long form or you like the shorter version? But let's get into it. I'm about to skip this. There we go.
Hey everybody, feeling great.
Well, it's good to have you guys back. We did have you both on episode 22 of Pop the Balloon or Find Love, where you ended up matching. All right, so then is it a yes for you for her?
It's a yes.
And is it a yes for you for him?
It's a yes.
We got a match! I'll take this mic and you guys can go on up. Oh, give it up for them, y'all. Okay, so obviously we saw on your episode there was quite a moment that went viral that included our lovely Miss Johiko. So, so Johiko, walk us through that moment when you were like, you know what, this wig is coming off. Like, tell us what was going through your mind. Like,
nah, girl.
Just walk us through everything.
Should I give you like the entire backstory of how, like?
No. We don't need all that. Just let us know, like, what made you be like, you know what, I'm gonna take my wig off.
Well, it was Hubert, you know, like the fact that he mentioned me having braids and lumps. And at the end of the day, I was like, I'm not going to walk off this set and let millions of people assume that I had like some big old messed up braids to the point where they can be seen under a full custom made wig. So I was like, it was more so for that reason, you know? And then I'm just known to snatch wigs. I have no problem taking off wigs anywhere, whoever, wherever.
Trying to
So
get into this thing.
I don't need the wigs, you know?
Yeah.
I'm fighting to lower costs, but my opponent would make our lives more expensive by repealing legislation I passed to cut drug prices and raising taxes on the middle class. I work for Virginia. My opponent is for special interests.
Okay, no, and honestly, like when you took it off, the hairstyle underneath, sis, I was like, why did she wear the wig? Why?
Yeah, I had to do it. I had to. It was just, even though the question was, or the statement was said like a few moments before, it was still in the back of my head. And I'm like, nah. So it was just a moment that I was thinking subconsciously, like, you're either going to walk off here and let people talk you through the mud about you having some dookie braids and lumps, or you're going to show them that you don't have any. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to show them, because, you know, some people, they will never take a wig off anywhere. Like, I'm very confident. Yeah. I know I look good with or without it, so I had no problem taking it off and proving a point. So
yeah, you do. You definitely look great both ways.
Thank you.
So Chad, during that moment, you were like, "Don't do it."
You sure did.
Well, Danny said the fool don't do it. I was about to say it, and then I saw her do it, and I was like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which do you prefer? Wig on, wig off? What, when you saw her?
She looked beautiful both ways, but if I had to choose, I would say wig off.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, good. Johiko, see, not too many people can pull it all off, so you go ahead, girl.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so to go ahead and get into the juicy topic at hand that everybody tunes into these catch-ups to know all about. So since you guys ended up matching, have you gone on a date?
That was the plan. Right, Chad? The plan was definitely for, either he was going to come here. I've never been to Vegas. I've always wanted to go. So the plan was to, but we have not.
Okay. And where are you at again, Johiko, if you could remind us?
I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
So what happened?
Okay. That's a little bit
But
of a distance.
that I
But what
travel.
happened?
I travel.
Yeah.
That doesn't really get into the way. Distance is nothing for me. So
Okay.
what
So what got
happened?
in the way then?
I'm not even gonna lie, like conversation with Chad was amazing. Like we still talk. We talk every day. Almost. Not I
Hmm.
wouldn't say every day, but we definitely check in on each other. I check in on him. But I would say the first thing that transpired when we all were leaving the set from that evening and we were
Hmm.
headed over to the spot that we end up hanging out after, and we were talking, and he told me that he was divorced, like myself. I think just about as long, like a year and a half. He was like, I'm in a similar situation like you. I've been divorced a
No
year and a half. But then I
sir. Come
noticed
on, bruh.
that he
Come
said
on,
wife
dog.
like
You done played it
twice.
like
So I was
that. You
like,
tried to pull
you
a
sure
little
you're divorced? Because this
switcheroo
is
on her, you know what I'm saying? No, you can't do that.
the second time that you've mentioned wife. And he was like, no, no,
Okay.
no. Like, I am. Like, it just happens, which I don't do it so much anymore because I've been divorced 7 years. But I do know that, sometimes you're so used to calling somebody something. But
Right.
I just had to ask because this is not the first time you said wife. This is the second time.
Mm.
So that was the first thing. And then as we're talking and getting to know each other a little more, he was just talking about his divorce again. So I had asked him, well, when did you file specifically? And he said that the divorce is not final. But, he is separated. And while some people are okay with dating someone that's separated, me
Dang, so
personally,
my man just
having
pretty
already
much
gone through
married.
that and just
Which is
knowing the
fine.
emotional
That's
roller
fine, but
coaster,
I see
I
what she's
just
saying
want,
though. She wants to
I prefer
be
someone that's just completely detached from
because
any
technically, right, if we're gonna use technical words, you're dating a married man, right?
type of situation, especially divorce where kids are involved and just, so many aspects are involved.
Hmm.
There's just no telling what can happen. I have friends that got back with their ex-husbands just before the divorce or after. So yeah, unfortunately, that's just something I wish could have been conveyed to me up front so that, I could have been able to really make that decision. But he was honest and forthcoming about it, which I appreciated. He could have kept saying, I'm fully divorced, but
Mm.
I did appreciate his honesty about that. But, I had to now make a new decision. So I did.
Okay, so Chad, kind of bring it back on over to you. So, are you in the works of a divorce, or it's still just a separation and the divorce hasn't been filed yet?
No, it's been filed. So what happened when I submitted for the show? I actually submitted for me and my cousin to go on there, but he did not want to be on that type of platform with that amount of people. So I submitted the application for myself. It was about 3 or 4 days when everything was supposed to be finalized in June. Now there was some
Mm.
circumstances that happened on her end that I don't even want to bring up that uh, forced the date to be postponed to a later
Well,
date. But
this ain't
everything is basically
proposed.
settled on that.
Okay.
The custody, the just about everything in the property. But yeah, so it got postponed. And by the time I was to get on the show, it was supposed to be completely finalized. But even
Right.
before then, we already knew it was done and hadn't
Listen, give
even
my man some props for
no physical
being, you know what I'm
contact or
saying? Yeah,
interaction with each
honest. A lot
other
of people, like
for
he said,
over a
shit, they would
year.
lie about
So
this shit. Like,
Hmm.
man, you told
yeah,
me,
so
you
that's why
know,
I wanted to
I'm saying, you know what I'm
you know
saying?
Get
submit
back
the
out there.
application.
I'm divorced. Da, da, da. Nah, just put it out there. Be straight forthcoming. I think once the divorce is over and finalized, I think she'll end up talking to him because she seemed like she really liked my man. You know what I'm saying? To me,
Right.
And get
Yeah.
out there and see what it was gonna do.
Okay. And like you said, you're fully detached by this point, so you are obviously ready to go back out there and begin dating again, right?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. So, Johiko, for you, have you been in a situation before where you were dealing with someone, you specifically? I know you said you know people, it's happened, but like, have you specifically ever dated someone who's in the process of a divorce?
I have, and it's something that I kind of found out again, like along the way. And I'm just the type of person, I put everything out on the table up front, take it or leave it. Like, give me the decision to, decide whether I want to move forward in
Hmm.
knowing this information. So the fact that I kind of found out like a few days later, and
Mm.
then it was just the lie. Chad, I love you. But the fact that he was like, oh, no,
We,
no, like
we both dispute that.
when I questioned him, like, you just said wife twice. Like, this is your second time you said wife. Are you sure you're divorced? And he told me, yeah, he gave me that
Mm.
reassurance. So just that lie, and
Uh-oh,
remember, that
Chad's
was one of
saying
my
no.
deal breakers.
She's still gonna give him a
So
chance, though. Why you still
for
talking to him
whatever
then?
reason, he chose not to disclose that at the time. I prefer someone that's very transparent, very, I'm very, like I said on the show, I'm real big with integrity and honesty. Like that goes a very long way for me.
Hmm.
So it was the lie, which I consider to be a lie. And we've talked about it. He's like, it's not a lie. It was a lie because he told me you had this.
I
Um,
say
and then,
separated. She says I said divorce, but I no.
So
yeah.
you're
So,
saying you've already told her from the beginning that you're in a
Yeah.
separation, you're
Well,
not
when we
fully
got
divorced.
when we got to the place that we hung out and Aiden had drinks and everything,
Hmm.
yeah, I said separated, and I don't know if I went into why it got postponed afterwards, but I do remember mentioning that it was supposed to be finalized in June, and there was things that happened, and we talked a lot about that behind the scenes. But what caused it to for the date to get
A
extended?
lie.
So I was upfront that day about that because I didn't want. She's in Florida. I'm out here. Start off with you know little details that may not be. I could have sworn I said separated, but she's 100% adamant that I said divorce. But
Mm.
the ultimate truth is that there is no connection there, nothing to go back to really. So that's just that.
yeah.
Okay.
And if he would have told me he was separated, that would have been a deal
Hmm.
breaker right off the bat for me. I would have
Oh.
definitely paid attention to that because, again, I just prefer someone who has no
You did
ties.
say that day.
Although he is,
She said that that
separated.
day?
She said that that night. You said that. That's a deal. I'm going to be honest. That's a deal breaker for me. We still had a
No,
good
what I
time
told you
after
was a
that.
deal breaker was that the only time I mentioned deal breaker was the passport because we end up, there were a lot of questions
You
I
did
did
say
not get
that.
to ask
Yeah,
on the
she's
show.
right. She's right.
So the
I
only
remember
time
her
I
saying that, but
mentioned
she's right. It was for that.
Right. The only time that I
Okay.
mentioned deal
Yeah, it was a
breaker
joke. It was
was
a
when I
joke, though.
asked him,
That's
does he
true.
have a passport? And I was like, oh man, I was like, that would have been a deal breaker for me. But it's something that you can obtain at a later time.
Yo, by
So
the
I
way,
was
Yeah.
Arlette
still
is
open to
killing the
just
game with
getting
these
to know
pop
him.
balloon jackets.
But
Mm.
trust me, had he told me Arlette he was separated, anybody that knows me know I don't do separations.
Hmm.
I
Still
don't do none of that. I prefer
communication.
someone who is 100% out of a situation. While they're separated and not living together, there are still a lot of things that have to be resolved within, that dissolution of the marriage. And it's just not
Mm.
something that I prefer not to. And don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, there are people who are separated and back out on the dating scene and they have no ties. I just
This is the
prefer
thing, though.
not
This is what
because
I
there's
hate,
just
right?
no telling what can happen.
Everybody
After
says
the
it's not
divorce, there's still that healing
true. It's
process.
all true.
With my
Men
divorce,
and
after
women
I
process
divorced, that
emotions
reality
differently. We
hit.
do.
Like, as much as
It's a fact. This is a whole given ass fact. It's a fact. Fact. We process his emotions differently. So you cannot tell a man how he's going to process the divorce after he gets divorced. He's already been separated from somebody for a whole year, so that means he hasn't talked to, well, nah, I ain't gonna say that, but they have kids. But I'm saying he hasn't dealt with them, I'm guessing, is what he's given off. He hasn't dealt with her, talked, whatever that case may be. So why do you think that he is, come on, man, it's just not making sense. It's not adding up to the fact of like, bro, no, like, you can't tell him how he's gonna act after the end of the damn divorce. You not. But it's true though. You do gotta heal. But I'm just saying you can't sing the process.
I was looking forward to it. It was painful. I had to heal, you know?
So you're thinking he's not fully healed yet enough for
well, the
you to
divorce is
date
not
him.
even final. Yeah, like there's a whole nother process post divorce that you go through emotionally, mentally, just the adjustment of, like no longer
I think
having
she was
affairs
hurt.
and
She was
financial.
hurt during
It's
her
just too much.
divorce, and a whole
I
bunch
just
of that
I don't
stuff
want
happened.
to,
So now she's kind of
So
like everybody
yeah,
got
that
that,
was
which is
just
that's
my
alright. She don't
choice.
want to
And
dump
yeah,
nobody. That's fine. That's alright. I get it.
I don't recall him telling me he was separated. I would have definitely told him at that moment we can only be friends, but
Damn,
it
that's
didn't go down
exactly what
that
I
way.
said.
Okay. So now what if, we're saying everything finalizes, he's good to go, and he comes out and says, I'm
She'll talk
officially a
to him.
divorced man. What's it gonna look like between you two?
Um, I think honestly that would have to be a bridge that I would have to cross when it gets there,
Once it's there.
Um,
Okay.
but even
Let me
outside
just
of
say
that,
this.
Okay, go ahead, Chad. Go
Let
ahead.
me just say this.
wait, I was talking, Chad. Let me
Oh, I'm
finish.
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I won't forget. Go ahead. My bad.
To truthfully answer your question,
Mm-hmm.
I spoke to Chad about this. Another thing that I don't deal with is drama. And unfortunately, wife to be came on my
Dang.
page. She was on
Wait, I'm gonna
several
pause right there.
vlogs.
Let me
Yeah,
know. I'm
she
gonna.
commented on my page. And I prefer to be in healthy relationships, where whether we get along or we don't, there's just no drama. So the fact that she did that and we don't even have anything going on yet, it kind of, that was a red flag to me. I prefer to
Okay.
deal with, I don't mind a person that has an ex-wife, a baby mom, whatever that situation. But as long as they know how to be mature and handle themselves
Oof.
accordingly, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing even happened yet, and she's already on my page. Oh, you need to ask him this and da da da. Da. No, I don't. I live a
I was about
very
to say ring
peaceful,
light
soft
matter.
life. My kids, like, that's just not something I want to entertain because who's to say down the road when something happens. Oh, one of my lights just went out. Can you
Uh-oh.
guys still see me
Do you
fine?
want to fix it? Yeah, we still see you. Did you want to fix it or it's good?
Um,
It's back. Looks
it's
like it's
okay.
back.
Yeah. Well, I have a backlight and I had my ring light on. But
Oh.
as long as you guys can see me, okay, I can plug it in really quickly if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, because
We
I
can
have it
edit all
plugged
this
into
out.
my
Don't
Nah,
worry.
laptop,
see,
but my
I think
laptop
when a woman is
is
not
shut.
over a man yet, she's
What
gonna
she was
try
just
to
discussing.
demolish. Well, even if she is, and she just doesn't want him to be happy, because some people, men, sometimes men do this too, right? Men do this, women do this. If I'm not happy, you can't be happy either. So now I'm gonna try to ruin everything you got, right? Which is pretty messed up because it's like, damn, why you know what I mean? Why you ruining everything that I got going on here, right? But people get their feelings, so that's what happens. But it sucks because then it's like every woman, she's gonna do that every time he gets somebody new. It's kind of like he has to, I don't want to say hide her, but like keep it under wraps. And then because she's just gonna get harassed at that point. So then you keep her under wraps, then the woman feels some type of way because it's like, oh well, you know what I'm saying? I'm a secret. Da, da, da. That's sticky, man. What works?
I said if the shoe were on the other foot and her ex is coming up out the throwing mud on the wall and being messy, I told her the same thing. I wouldn't entertain that, to be honest. I don't have time for that. I'm a very busy man. I wouldn't want to entertain that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that, and her bringing up that she doesn't know if I'm healed. I don't know if I could say the same thing for her to be able to do something like that on a big platform when she's moved on. She has another man and has moved on. So to do what she did, it didn't make sense to me. And
You're
I
talking
did
about your
tell her,
ex-wife to be?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So she's already moved on as another man, and I don't know why you would even do that. Just being
Yeah.
messy. Just I probably seeing me on a platform, and we've been together forever since 2007. That's a long stretch, and
Mm-hmm.
to see that maybe, you know, I don't know what it did, but I'm completely moved on. I am completely detached from that, and I can't speak for or control others' actions, and that's unfortunate, and I
Right.
understand it. But I thought her when I was on the show, I
Mhm.
didn't see something, and I may have been talking to Danny next to me or something. But when it was time for her to pop between me, La, and Hubert, she was about to pop on me, and I brought that up. So I was like, all right, out of the three. And just right before then, Hubert just got through flaming her, and I'm like, damn. When I went to go watch the show back over, I didn't see that initially, that she was coming over to pop me. I don't know where I was not seeing that, but
Mhm.
had I saw that, I would have thought in my head, like, she really is not interested in me in that way. I don't know what it is. She's a sweetheart. I don't think she'll really bring up what it is. She mentioned, like, I'm too old to be too picky, bald or whatnot. I don't know if you don't like baldness or what it is. You never mentioned anything about that. But in my head, when I rewatched it, it seemed that way. Like you were gonna pop on me. Um, yeah, so I didn't see it initially. I may have been talking to Danny right next to me,
Mm.
but when I watched the show again and she had the choice between La, Hubert, and me, um, she did her little shuffle back and forth, and then he popped, but she was clearly headed to me. So before all the other
Mm.
things that she rightfully so wouldn't want to continue on, you have your preferences and everything. Before those even came up, uh, after seeing that video, she already had her mind made up, in my opinion, that I may not be her flavor. That's just what it looked
Uh-oh.
like to me. So
Okay, Johiko, let's hear
Well,
from
I
you.
can answer that. Well,
Uh-huh.
first, Hubert had not done anything yet. It was in that moment that he had actually popped. Because you're saying after Hubert already like said what he said, he hadn't said anything yet. That's why he popped, because I was taking too long to pop. It was my turn to pop the balloon, and because I couldn't decide, and yes, I was walking your way, and that's when he popped, and that's when all the "why did you pop your balloon" transpired with her
yeah,
Hubert. So it
my
had not,
memory is terrible.
yeah, it had not happened yet.
So you
But
were walking his way to go pop his
Yeah,
balloon?
yeah, because at the end of the day, I out of those three, I really did not know who to pop. I'm sure many can speak for me when they say that you have to pop. Like, I remember I asked, I was like, can I ask a question? Like, can I have more of a reason to eliminate somebody? But
Mm-hmm.
the rule of the game is you have to
You gotta
eliminate
pop.
somebody. I
Yeah.
didn't have enough information, honestly, to my opinion. All three of them
Come on,
physically,
man.
they were not bad looking. You know what I mean? So
Just say what you
going off
gotta
of
say and be
looks,
nice.
that was
Just
not the
say it,
reason.
man.
I just had to pop. Like I had to
Okay.
pop. So I popped. I was almost gonna pop on Hubert because that's who I almost popped on first.
Mm-hmm.
Like I almost popped on him, and then actually I was gonna pop on you, and then I was gonna
It
go
don't
back
matter.
and
You
pop
was
on
about to
Hubert.
pop
That's
my
when he popped,
man's,
because
not
then I was
Hubert.
about to pop on him. Then I started to walk towards you. I'm not gonna lie, it was confusion. Okay, I did not know what to do, and I didn't even base my popping reason on anything aside from the fact that I had to pop somebody. So
Okay. So is
I
Chad?
popped.
Chad is someone that is your type, though.
Yeah, no, Chad is attractive.
Okay.
Like I've said before, Chad to me, it was between Chad and I forgot his Danny that were best dressed. And if
Mm.
I had to pick between them two, Danny still had like streetwear. He still had the shredded jeans. He looked Chad
Dan?
looked
No, no, no. Are you talking about the guy in the
Danny.
front, the first guy?
Danny was the last one with all black, and he had like the
Oh, you
shredded
call that
jeans.
streetwear?
The shredded jeans, like when I dinner
Oh,
wise,
okay.
like that's more like street urban. And
Mm.
I look at like a first date type thing as like a first dinner, like
Slacks.
first encounter. So yeah, I was looking for something more. So he was the only one that didn't really come off as streetwear. He had on like a collared shirt, he had on just some solid jeans, and he
Mm-hmm.
had on like, I guess I don't know what kind of sneakers to call those, but like kind of like
those
Aldo shoes.
Timberlands.
Oh,
Right, but they were
got
they
the
were
Tim.
just they were nice shoes. They weren't
Mm.
like sneakered, like he
Yeah,
was the best dressed in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
based on how he put himself together.
Okay.
Now some of the other guys were more stylish, but for the occasion,
It's a subtle
Chad
touch.
matched more so what I would have wanted to see everybody on the lineup with.
Mm.
Even though he
Okay.
still, was still casual, but it was it was appropriate. So yeah, I don't know. Chad is even when I talk to Chad on the phone, we still talk often. And, I look at him, he's very attractive. I love when the sun hits his face. He has a nice skin. The bald head looks good. I don't have preference on hair, so it had nothing to do with that. The only reason I popped on you was because I was taking too long picking. I really didn't know who. That was a very challenging time at that moment. So
Yeah,
that's
and I
the
think,
only reason I popped.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Y'all just need
Okay.
to go
No, I
ahead
can
and
see
date,
that.
get
Chad, does that
together.
give you the
It is what it
clarification?
is,
I'll
man.
give you that.
Go ahead and work it out.
That's my true honesty. But you're entitled
Hey, y'all want
to.
to finish watching the video? Y'all know where to go. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time. Peace.